This is a bold take. I get it. And a lot of people are going to say, but Smitty,
how can you say things like what you're about to say about a player that hasn't taken a snap in the NFL?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Also, Smitty, you don't even know where he's getting drafted to.
All good questions, Bob, but this is not that show, pal. This is not that show. And I'm not that type of analyst. This is ahead of the curve type thinking here on the Fantasy Football Show. We weren't scared off from predicting top 1 to 5 running back numbers out of Breece Hall, and he surely would have had those type of numbers at the end of the year had he not gotten hurt. Bijan Robinson is no different than Breece Hall last year when Breece Hall was on fire. Think back for a minute before you start saying,
nah, I don't know about a rookie running back
being the number 1 overall player. Breece Hall was the number 1 overall player. He climbed up into that 1 or 2 overall running back role before his ACL tear. Every single one of you would have taken him number 1 or number 2 overall if you were doing a mid-season draft right before the injury. This guy right here is a generational talent. He runs like a mixture of LaDainian Tomlinson meets Nick Chubb. This guy is fluid when he runs. He's electric. He's smooth. Every time I watch him run, make a cut, hit a hole, gain momentum, navigate the next level of traffic, and slip into a different hole or direction, it takes me back to watching LaDainian Tomlinson run the football. Bijan Robinson could be the number 1 overall receiving back in the National Football League.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.
Where he lands in the upcoming NFL draft will surely dictate how good he's going to be at pulling in the football as a rookie. But all the potential landing spots here, if we try and map out where he could go, especially if he goes earlier on, like in the top 12, we can pretty much guarantee that the environment he lands in is going to be very conducive to PPR and non-PPR work. The earliest he could go, probably the Falcons at 8, the Bears now at number 9, the Eagles at 10. We call this Bijan Row because that's like the string of picks where if he was to go early, he could go anywhere in this 6 to 10. If the Eagles don't have the balls to take him at 10 and the Bears at 9, there could be a string of teams that don't grab him because they don't need him. Houston could take him at 12, though. Don't think that Dameon Pierce is locked in, but Tennessee's not going to take him unless they trade away Derrick Henry, which is very possible, although I don't know that they go the route of going RB after they get rid of Henry because they're not built to win. So if let's say he slips past 6 through 10 and then Houston doesn't take him at 12, the Jets aren't going to take him. The New England Patriots, you never know, but we'll say no. The Green Bay Packers have Dillon and they brought back Aaron Jones. Washington Commanders, I doubt they go that direction, but they could. They have a bunch of RBs in the room. Pittsburgh won't take him. Detroit, if they could take him at 6, they clearly take him at 18. I think in a worst case scenario for Bijan, if he falls through Bijan Row, doesn't get scooped up by the Texans at 12, I don't think he could fall past 18. And if he did fall past 18, the Chargers would be crazy to pass on him to reignite the thunder and lightning approach. And then absolute safety net beyond all safety nets, the Baltimore Ravens, which I don't love if Lamar's gone. I don't even really love it if Lamar's there because Lamar vultures all the work. So the only spot I don't like so far out of all the teams we've listed is the Baltimore Ravens at 22. So that's a pretty good worst case scenario roadmap that I've just mapped out there. I mean, he literally, unless he goes to Baltimore, can't go to a bad location logically. Now, logic isn't always in play. We know that. There are always going to be risks involved in fantasy football, but guess what? That's why we play the game. Bijan Robinson has the tools to be a 1,400-yard rookie running back. Bijan Robinson has the tools to pull in 50-plus receptions as a rookie running back, eventually seeing 70 receptions, doing things that Saquon Barkley does. Another running back he reminds me of is Saquon Barkley. But 70 or 80 receptions in year 2 or year 3, not out of the question whatsoever. But because we're talking 2023 and I'm calling Bijan Robinson the number 1 overall running back in 2023, what am I really saying to you? Am I telling you to go draft this guy number 1 overall?
Smitty, are you telling me to take him as RB1 in my draft?
Absolutely not. Bijan Robinson has an ADP around 7 to 12 overall. If you think you're getting him in a shark league, a non-grandma league outside of round 1, you're kidding yourself. Bijan Robinson in a league that knows what it's doing, that has minimum 1 grandma or maybe all sharks in it, he's going 7 to 12. But if you try and grab Bijan at number 1 or number 2 off of this video and off of my excitement and pumping up of Bijan, you aren't paying attention, and you're going to take a big, massive lap. Also, if you take Bijan Robinson at 1, number 2, number 3 overall, and give me that excuse that I always hear,
But Smitty, we can't trade in my league. I'm just gonna grab my guy.
don't come running to me if he gets injured or does fall into a situation where he's slow moving out of the gate. Those things happen. That's why you package in the risk. You bake it in. If you don't bake the risk in, you're putting yourself in a potential situation you can't navigate out if you do hit bumpy road. Drafting Bijan at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, anywhere in that 7 to 12 range allows you the flexibility to have a slow start, allows you the flexibility of a coaching staff kind of messing up and not throwing the ball to him enough. Look at ETN. ETN is one of the best pass catching backs in the entire National Football League. But even a team that utilized him a lot, brought him up, he became an RB1 in fantasy football, a big moon man and prediction of the show, but they didn't throw to him. They still haven't thrown the football to him yet on any sort of consistent level, and he's one of the best receiving backs in the National Football League. Things happen. Coaches aren't always logical. Please bake in the risk and have the upside sitting there for the taking. Bijan at 8 wins you a league. Bijan at 10 wins you a league. Bijan at 2, well, maybe you get your value back if I'm correct, but Bijan at 1 or 2 overall is not setting you up for a win-a-league moment. But Bijan at number 1 or number 2 overall is not setting you up for a big swing. It's setting you up for a potential home run that's expected from the 1 or 2 overall, but you have to hit that home run or you strike out. You don't get another at-bat. You don't get another attempt. If you take him at 8, 9, 10, 12 overall, you have win-a-league potential with risk baked in. He's my number 1 overall rookie player, obviously. He's my number 1 or number 2 or number 3 overall dynasty player, depending if you want to go JJ or Jamar Chase, because it's a 3 wide receiver mandatory league. Wide receivers have a longer shelf life. Going JJ or Jamar is certainly an approach that I deploy. I'll deploy the JJ, Jamar, or Bijan approach depending on my league. And if I had 3 leagues side by side, drafting all at the same time, number 1 overall pick in all 3 drafts, they're all dynasty, they're all startups. I'm taking Bijan in 1, I'm taking JJ in 1, I'm taking Jamar in the other. That's how close the top 3 are for me. But me putting Bijan in that tier says something. It tells you that I love him in dynasty, but it also tells you how much I think he's going to impress in year 1. And he's my number 1 finishing running back. Yeah, you heard me right. In my projections, not my rankings, not my draft rankings. That's my projections, my predictions, my end of year prediction. Bijan's my number 1 overall finisher at the end of the year. When people look back and go, wow, I didn't quite see that coming. We're going to know that it was on the table for discussion, and we're going to know that we all jumped on board that train and conducted that train. In his sophomore year, he's the consensus number 1 overall. His sophomore year, he is Christian McCaffrey. He is Barkley in his heyday. He is Adrian Peterson in his heyday. This is the number 1 running back end of year. This is the number 1 running back in fantasy football in everyone's minds across every format, in every world. Every grandma's going to know his name by the time 2023 comes to a close. And it doesn't likely matter where he goes. Know that. Where he goes could only increase his ADP. If he goes to the Falcons and he's got Algier sitting there and no quarterback, his value might not change much in an upcoming startup draft. He might go around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe he goes more the 7, 8, 9 range because people are saying his name and they know finally where he landed. There's something weird about when a player gets a landing spot, even if it's not better than expectation, he becomes a real player, a real person. It's no longer the 1.1. In theory, it's Bijan. It is a person now. But let's say he goes to Chicago. Let's say he goes to Philly. All of a sudden, Bijan Robinson is top 5 on everybody's draft board. And you have to then spend a top 5 overall pick on Bijan Robinson, which I will sign off on.
You've just been Smitty approved.
But only when the time comes. Understand what I'm saying. If the ADP rises and matches that top 5 overall value and expectation, we could swoop in and take him as a top 5 guy. If the ADP isn't there yet, you need to know ADP, use ADP to your advantage, average draft position, know where players are going on the average so you can come in and strike gold every time you're on the clock. If he climbs to the number 2 overall pick, I will Smitty approve and double stamp and triple stamp on Bijan Robinson.
You've just been Smitty approved.
But until then, I will be your advisor in chief, trying to advise you to take full advantage as much as you can for as long as you can, so you can hit unexpected home runs and win your league and not have to hit a home run to actually break even. This is the bull prediction I've been talking about dropping here over the last couple days. Bull prediction number 1. We've got the Moon Men list. You guys know the Moon Men.
The Moon Men. Dropping loads in outer space.
We've got Bijan on the Moon Men list. You guys know the Mars Men.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
This absolute monster, Bijan Robinson, he's going to be an amazing player. They're on these lists. You know these guys. But this is my bull prediction series. A little bit different. I'm not going to drop 10, 15. I'm going to give you about 5 bold predictions. Bold prediction number 1, Bijan Robinson is the number 1 overall finishing running back in 2023, walks into 2024 and beyond as the number 1 overall player in fantasy football. Get some. Get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com and get your rankings, your bold predictions, your lifetime content membership, your one-on-one text advice. I started in the business creating tools like the trade calculator, the instant base player trade calculator, which works off auction dollars so that you can't trick it. You can do a 3-for-1 trade, a 2-for-1 trade. Get on over there and check out the trade calculator and the one-on-one text advice. I've been dropping content on thefantasyfootballshow.com since, it's been over 20 years I've been doing the content stuff. So it's a great product. Go check it out. I will see you on the next video. I go live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Every single Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. I'm live whenever news breaks. So that means whenever Aaron Rodgers news breaks, which should break tomorrow, maybe breaks right now after I post this video. But I'm also live pretty much every other midnight Eastern to do live drafts on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Wait, that's this button right here. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $100 on your first deposit at Underdog Fantasy. So get on over there. Link is in the description. Now, I will tell you all, like I tell you every single time when you're here, I work for you. I'll see you on the next show.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.